welcome to episode 116 of Checkpoint Chat, Dalmatians.
Oh, I was just going to say, I can't even make the Dalmatians joke anymore. We are so far beyond 101 now.
I know, it's actually kind of crazy.
Think about that. I made that joke.
My name is Alessandro Barbosa. The Dalmatians man is Matthew Figueira.
I'm the Dalmatian master, Matthew Figueira.
You know, I would never be able to tell that you got your hair did this week because it doesn't look like it anymore.
Well, for those of you who don't know, I had a community challenge on my Twitch channel where...
What's your Twitch channel?
Twitch.tv/Airnews, of course.
Sick.
If you donated points, no, not actual money, before anyone goes, wow, people paid money for this. If you donated channel points to this, I would have straightened my hair on stream. Well, Lenska would have straightened my hair for me, and she did. And my hair was glorious. I had a beautiful Malay.
It was glorious. It was very good.
And then the next stream, people were like, what happened to your hair? I was like, well, I washed it. And
Moisture got in contact with it.
It's so easy. Yeah, my hair's just curly.
I donated all my figs to Lenska doing her own stream and then you playing horror games in October.
Oh my God.
Because I do miss that Matthew Figueira playing horror games.
There's a part of me that regrets putting that up because, you know, contrary to popular belief, I don't actually enjoy playing horror games.
Oh, really? I never knew that.
No. Well, I know some local streamers who they just love playing horror games. That's their content. They'll play the most obscure indie titles through to Silent Hill and, you know, actual well-known horror games.
I know friend of the show Zane streams and he likes streaming horror games.
I mean, I think he's played Outlast 2, for example.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, after the straightening challenge, it's like, well, I don't actually know what else to put up, you know, because I'm not a big time streamer. I mean, what do I offer?
Oh, really?
Aren't
like,
you? Know what? No. Don't you eat your cake on show? This is just rude. I don't have cake.
I'm allowed to eat my cake.
You're just stuffing your face with delicious homemade cake.
This is my podcast and I do what I want.
I'll just drink my homemade H2O then.
Homemade? Did you filter it yourself?
I poured it myself this morning. It was great.
A great little pause there for you to drink and for me to chew. I'm trying to chew off mic because I know some people get super freaked out by the sound of other people eating.
Yeah, some people get freaked out. Other people are like, "Oh, when a Checkpoint Chat incorporate an ASMR intro." Ooh,
I'm one of those people. If someone's near me and they're chewing, it's like ASMR for me. I don't know why. I don't know.
They like close their eyes, start chewing, open eyes. You're like staring in their face, like, yes.
I get all tingly. It's weird.
Oh my gosh, you should watch. There's a whole channel.
I feel like that's a black hole that I don't want to go down. It's like a dangerous thing.
Listen, I can 100% understand why people get that satisfaction from ASMR, but I think a lot of the Twitch ASMR streamers, it's weird. Like it's, I don't know.
What's your weirdest one?
It's like highly sexualized.
Oh,
it's like, oh, okay then. I'm just
gonna eat this cucumber.
Yeah. Actually, think of that little grapefruit video.
Oh God! Oh my! I remember that. I do remember that. Is this like your anti-ASMR going on here?
That's so good.
But yes, you got your hair did. It was fantastic, and
it was great.
It was a very entertaining stream. Even got Lenska to say "Poggers dude," which was quite interesting.
Poggers dude. We have a friend of the show, Jaden, aka Deathbox. He started streaming a few months ago, and he like Poggers has been a thing I've known about for years now. It's like a Twitch thing or just a gamer thing. You say Poggers, but to me, he is the Poggers dude. Like he encompasses all the poggersness because he just shouts it on his stream.
Oh,
I mean, he has a channel reward that you can pay points for him to shout poggers.
I'm sure it's triggered all the time.
When he tweets, he always hashtags it with poggers, dude. I mean, that is his brand now. So it's like his lifelong dream. Every time, not his lifelong dream. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but whenever he sees Lenska, it's like, oh, please just say poggers.
she leaned into it hard there.
Yeah, because Lenska's like, what the hell is poggers?
Listen, I'm the same. I'm with Lenska there.
Don't ask. Just say it. Just say poggers. She's like, poggers, dude. Like, he's like, yes.
I think
yes.
I think Keegan, friend of the show, Keegan, clipped it as well.
Yes, he did. Poggers, dude.
It was good. Poggers.
Yeah.
That stream was fun. Yeah, I enjoyed your long Malay and your it looked like
Malay.
it was a process. I really wanted you to shave your hair. There should be a channel reward for that.
So I went to the office this week to help pack boxes for a campaign that's going live end of the month. I will tell you all
PS5,
about it.
knew it.
Yeah, I'm a double agent, so I'm actually working on PS5 in the background.
You can tell us the price right now. Scoops.
We'll get to that in the news, I guess. No, but we went to the office very safe, so nobody give me shit. One of my colleagues there, though, he's like, yeah, I saw your stream, but now, how many subs? Because he knows, like, I won't ever shave my hair for channel points. Now you have to give me money to shave my hair. He's like, how many subs to shave your hair? I was like, I don't know, man. It's gonna have to be like thousands, because I'm not just gonna do it for anything.
I will gift you 100 channel subs for you to shave your hair.
100. I mean, if you're donating 100 channel subs, you know that's $500.
Yeah.
Okay,
shave your hair
$500.
on
That's funny
stream.
because I told him like it'd have to be thousands. Like I wouldn't do it for any old number. He's like, thousands. How about 100? Not a chance. 100
God
is so
damn it.
low.
100
like,
channel subs is a lot. It's fantastic.
I was like, he's like, I would do it for 100. I was like, yeah, but you've got short hair. You'll blink, your hair will have grown. And then he's like 200. I was like, no. The lowest I'll go is maybe 500, but I'd say 1,000.
What? $1,000?
1,000 channel subs. Bam.
Oh wow.
It's a high price.
I'm sure. Like collectively, we could do that.
1,000 channel subs.
Cello would contribute. Keegan, a lot of people would contribute. I think.
Not 1,000 people. I have to be realistic. I have to set it just high enough that you guys think you can get it.
Oh,
then I get the subs.
I'd personally contribute half. I would not care. I would do it.
Shit. Wow, I could never do that to you. Break your bank account. That's
Oh no, I'm willingly doing it.
Shadi's behind you, turning around, going like, "What? What's that? 500 channel subs? Holy
I
shit!"
would do it. It would be so worth it. Imagine also how aerodynamic you would be for your runs.
My speeds would double. No question about
Also,
it.
it's summer now, so you wouldn't be that cold. You'd be cold, but not that cold.
So you've shaved your hair. Do you feel the temperature
Oh,
change?
100%. Yes. It is the strangest phenomenon because it's almost like you've taken off a beanie and suddenly your head is cold and you can't escape it. It's like you have to experience it to really understand. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, but now I'm going to be wearing a beanie in summer, and then what?
And then when I used to do it, I was on Wits campus a lot, so I was moving around in the sun, and I got like sunburnt on my head. Because your head is like so white. It's been undercover.
So unprotected.
Yeah,
it's been so protected for your whole life. Oh
Exactly.
My gosh.
My dad recently shaved his head because his hair was like losing out and thinning, and yeah, he was like, "Man, it's so cold. The head's so cold." I'm like, "Yeah, welcome."
You're really selling me this no hair thing. Wow,
It's fantastic.
I'm gonna go shave my hair right now.
Shaving the head is fun because it's like it feels cool for a really long time, and you don't have to use shampoo. The shit part is like midway through the regrow because then your head has like no shape. And you've just kind of got to like deal with it because it's got to get long again. And that's the crap part.
Yeah. Have you seen my head?
Yeah. Then again,
that's
yours,
just
I rate when it's short, it will still be like curly. So it will still be fine, I think.
But what do you do with... Have you ever had short curly hair? It's the absolute worst. You can't do
I've never
anything
had
with
curly
it.
hair. I have no idea what
You've
it
never...
feels
Well,
like.
then don't pretend you know what it feels like.
Don't pretend you can walk a mile in my shoes.
You don't understand. You out here offering 500 subs. You don't understand the trauma that it was.
What would you do with 500 subs though? That would be pretty cool.
Oh my gosh. Well,
How much
500
would
subs
Twitch take for
translates
that?
A half.
What
So-
the fuck? Okay.
Yeah, so look, the way the cut works is that if you're a partner, they take like a 40% cut, you take 60%. But as an affiliate, it's straight up half. So one sub costs $5. So for every sub you give, essentially, I get $2.50.
So even if you reach
So-
1,000 gifted subs, you're only getting that 500.
Yeah, that's about right. It's 500 subs.
How about I just give you $500?
I mean, yeah, we cut out the middleman. That's
Exactly.
great.
Yeah.
That's probably the best thing to do. Yeah, we can talk off
But then
air.
you don't get
Arrange.
subs, 'cause that's a. If I gift subs, does that actually mean people sub to your channel, or is it just like
No,
giving
let
you
me
money?
tell you. you're giving me money. And look, if you gift subs, other people get subscriptions. That's what it is. But it's
But
my
like, who does it
Twitch.
choose?
I don't know if you can choose or if it does it randomly.
Oh,
But I have so many Twitch subscriptions. Just over the years I've been watching Twitch, not that I've bought, that have just been gifted to me.
just randomly.
It's like you've been a subscriber to this channel for 5 months. It's like, yeah, I think I just hang out enough that some person just gifts random people that I often get one.
Interesting.
Yeah, it happens. It happens, man.
I guess that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's lekker.
Okay, so from
sure.
shaving head to shaving that backlog. Hey, Checkpoint Chat is about video games. Hey, we are shaving our backlog. This Checkpoint Chat talk about video games. We've actually played a recent video game, both of us, this week. You finished it. I have not.
Well, finished is a loose term because I finished the campaign, but it's not actually completable because it's a live service game. So
This is Avengers, the video game.
Marvel's
Avengers, which is, I'll come right out and say it, better than I expected after that terrible beta. I thought the beta was awful.
Yeah, I think the beta was a poor showcase, unfortunately. Yeah. Well, that's the impression it left on me.
So I came in with low as hell expectations, but so far the story is pretty cool, pretty endearing, pretty
game
nice.
Of the year.
Yeah,
right?
let's
no,
let's not even go that far.
Yeah,
but so what I like a lot about the story is that a lot of the marketing kind of just left out that Kamala Khan is the story's main character, like straight up. She is the person you will play as the most, and she is kind of like the narrative glue that holds everything together.
Yeah,
and I
sure
really
is.
like her. I think she's an awesome character. She's almost like a character through the lens of the player. Like, oh my God, these are the Avengers. I'm so stoked. I'm so hyped for them. I'm so, excited to see them. And that opening on the hull carrier before the prologue even kicks off, the prologue from the beta, you get to like explore the hull carrier as her. And that was awesome. I love that.
That was a really nice surprise. I mean, I'm glad they left that out of everything because...
Yeah.
I mean, so just for context, the game starts out, you're Kamala Khan. You've written fan fiction or something, I suppose.
Yeah, I think like a fan comic or something. Yeah,
and you basically entered a competition and you get to go meet the Avengers essentially. So you're just walking around the helicarrier on an event called A-Day, which spoiler Avengers Day. If you didn't figure that one out,
it's really weird that it's made to sound like a riff of D-Day, which is not like.
No,
anyway.
not a good thing. Well, I suppose in the context of the game, it makes sense because A-Day actually, for those of you who don't know, a reactor basically explodes or something happens, that there's a massive explosion and it is therefore a bad day, A-Day.
And it ends up giving a lot of people superpowers. That's like the main thing.
Sets the stage for a lot of people die. The Avengers come out looking like the bad people, and a lot of people end up becoming what we know as Inhumans.
Yes,
they've
including
got powers. Kamala. Yeah, including Kamala, who's actually just, no offense, a version of stretchy arm guy from the Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
If
essentially.
you think about it. But yeah, like you said, she's the I suppose the glass you look through, you see the story through, and she is like hella endearing, very cool, and probably like one of the strongest parts of the game. In all honesty, like she carries a lot of the story on her shoulders, and I think her and the voice actress do a fantastic job of doing it.
I really like that intro on the hull carrier just because like there's these small moments where she has like her very first run-ins with some of the Avengers. Like she has a very small chat with Thor. And she stands up to like a bully and Captain America notices. And it's like those like cool little moments, with especially the Avengers not knowing what role she'll play later. Like it's just cool.
She's just very likable. Like I find it very difficult for any gamer to just, maybe she's a bit too like upbeat and cheery for some people, but I just think she captures you from the beginning. Like I think you get very invested with her story because you know that she is so invested in the Avengers. So when A-Day happens and everything goes to shit, she is like, oh my God, like what happened? I need to help you. Because she also gets powers, so she has the ability to help people.
Yeah. And she believes in like the Avengers' ability to do good. So when they like kind of disband and get blamed for a lot of what happened, she like refuses to believe it, and she sometimes sees the best in the Avengers even when it's not there, and it's almost like I feel like the story, at least, I mean, I'm not finished it, and you say I'm not even that close to like halfway, but like
yeah, even still early days.
Even from my early impression, there's these moments in the story where it's like never meet your heroes. Like she's getting a bit of a wide awake, like awakening to how crappy people like Tony Stark can be, and how Bruce Banner can kind of be annoying as well. But at the same time, she like takes it in her stride, and still she believes in a greater good. And I think it's really cool.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. It's a good and a bad thing though, because there are points in the story where it is like it's very heavy, like shit's looking bad, like the world's gone to shit. She's run away from home, but then at the same time, like in the next breath, she's like, "Ooh, but like I'm with the Avengers," and like that's a bit of a weird disconnect to me.
Yeah. I think early on it was in the beta where she like cries in front of Bruce Banner. And then, like, the very next sentence, she's like, "I'm on the Hellcarrier," and I'm just like,
"Yeah." And I was
okay.
like, "It's something just weird about that." Like, I found the story even throughout it bounces between like very heavy and sometimes, I don't know, like too light, if that makes sense. Like, there's no middle ground, which is a bit jarring. But like I said, good and a bad thing. It doesn't ruin the story. I still think the story is great.
You finished the story, so
I've finished it. So look, I think the campaign is worth playing. And to be completely honest, the Avengers themselves are great. I think the voice actors do a great job capturing their characters. I mean, it's funny because like I know of the heroes, but I only know a lot about them through the MCU, the actual movies, and they all seem like very similar versions to what you know from the movies. So Thor is this like almighty dude from another realm who like walks around like royalty, like yes,
and he's really cocky.
Whatever.
Yeah,
he's very cocky. Tony Stark is like this dude with a massive ego. I mean, I think it was very, very much like an MCU thing that at A-Day, there's a Charles Tolton who's like about to reveal something to the world, and then Tony Stark comes in and like steals his thunder.
Yeah, it was a very Tony Stark thing.
Very like Tony Stark. And then like
I wanted to know quickly, like when you first meet him, he's got like long hair and a beard, and when he gets back to the Hellcarrier, he's had a haircut. Who cut his hair?
He cut his own hair.
He did a really good job.
Jarvis cut his hair. Luna, what are you doing?
It was like the main thing. I was like, oh, he's got short hair now. I was like, wait, how did that happen? Who did Kamala cut his hair? Like,
well. So speaking of the characters quickly though, do you know who all the actors are?
I know Bruce Banner is Troy Baker.
And Troy Baker.
Tony Stark's Nolan North, isn't it?
Yeah, I only realized halfway through, I was like, I can't place this voice actor. I looked it up, I was like, of course it's Nolan North. They got Nathan Drake, who's also like very similar personality traits, like kind of adventurous, also cocky. A little bit cocky. Yeah, and it's like, well, of course he fits into the Tony Stark role.
I know the voice actress for Maria Hill is Jennifer Hale, who I immediately recognized from Mass Effect, because she's the voice actress for Female Shepherd. If you choose her, she's the better voice actress. So, yeah.
Black Widow's Laura Bailey, who you can hear a mile away.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I think the characters in the story are like relatively strong. Probably the strongest parts of the game. But then, I don't know, everything else just falls apart.
Let's talk about the combat quickly, because like from the beta, I was like, ooh, they are really like, the characters don't feel distinct. It just feels like every character's got a light and a heavy attack, and every character's got one or two extra powers, and like, oh, this one can fly, this one can jump from walls. They don't feel they feel vague enough that they kind of like blend together, you know what I mean? But the more I've played the campaign, the more I've like got into sync with kind of like each individual's like their move sets. And I still think there's an issue with like, you can pull off some cool combos with some of the characters, like straight up, but the game never throws any challenges at you that encourage that. So a lot of the time I'm just mashing buttons anyway, because that's what I can do to win.
I think most of the fun from the combat comes from you like you don't have to do it. You could just push square forever. But you could have more fun if you figure out some of the combos. So like if you push square, triangle, you get a different combo. Or there are ways to like sweep enemies off their legs to like air juggle them. But I mean, a lot of that. So like you're still pretty early in the game. A lot of that comes from as you play the game, you get skill points, and you put those into skill trees, which are basically.
I didn't realize there were 9 skill trees. I thought there was only 3.
There are a lot. Yeah, I had the same thing. I was like, holy shit.
I think it was Darren who actually said, man, there's so many skill trees. I'm like, there's only 3. And I feel like he's like, no, you need to press R1 on the menu. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell?
Speaking of menus, convoluted as hell.
Anyway, and very slow. They're so laggy. Those menus suck. What?
We'll get to that.
I hate opening the menu in the gear and everything just feels like it's like running at like 10 FPS. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So in terms of combat, I agree. When it starts out, it does look. The characters do have. I agree with you. Like they have their own pros and cons, but at the end of the day, they feel very samey. For the most part. But when you start unlocking the combos, and the more you play the characters, you start to get the little nuances.
Okay.
It's like Tony Stark, who I thought when I first played him on that opening sequence where you like just shoot everything. I'm like, I don't like this.
Yeah, I really didn't like him at the prologue. Yeah.
But when you force to play with him later in the story, and you start realizing like, I can do a combo, then like hold triangle to auto aim a ranged attack from afar, or to just finish off this combo. Then I really enjoy it. I actually enjoy playing as him.
I feel like his flight feels odd. It just doesn't feel.
The flying
great.
in that game is
I
even
like
as
it.
Thor is, it's just. You know what it is? It's the fact that you push the thumbstick into fly, and that you'd think that pushing like circle or X or something would stop you, but it doesn't. You have to push the thumbstick again to stop.
But also like most of the times I've played with the flying, like the arenas you're fighting in are so small that it's like, why would I even fly in here? Like, aside from the prologue where you fly from like one end of like the city to like the bridge, that's like a big. It almost feels like an on-rails flying section, but I haven't found anything or anywhere else where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to fly here. Because it's like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
The enemy variety, I think, sucks. Like, it's really bad.
There's a lot about this game where you, like, I don't know. At the end of the day, having finished it now, it feels like it would have been a great single-player game if they focus on making it a great single-player game. However, they've made it a live service game, which, like, it doesn't work for the game now, but I can kind of understand, or kind of get the reasoning behind it. Because this, to me, the way I see it, it's like it's the first game in like an MCU. Like they've really just laid the canvas for more characters, more games, not more games, more stories and stuff, which is quite cool. Like playing through the story, there are moments I was like, holy shit, it's like I'm watching an MCU movie, except I'm actually playing as a hero. And when it comes together, it really does come together. But it's at the same time, it's held back by this like live service aspect with the gear and stuff, which is just
sucks.
I don't know. I'd love to have been in those early pitch meetings or those early concept discussions where they were busy talking about like, okay, we've got the rights or the property, like what are we going to do with this game? And I have to imagine that at some point, at one point it was just going to be this really cool narrative game because like that just makes sense to me. But then it was a thing of like, no, but the trend now is to make a live service game. Like
also, like if we're paying for this license, we can't just make a 20-hour game and then it's like, oh, you're done. I'm sure like Square Enix is like, we've paid a lot for this license, or Marvel is paying us a lot to make this game, and they expect a certain sustained return or whatever. I don't know. But I agree with you. It feels at odds with what like Crystal Dynamics clearly wanted to do, which was the story-driven game.
Yeah, but I'm torn because it really dilutes the overall game. But at the same time, having finished the story, I'm like, I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
I'd love for them to pick it up like you would go watch another Marvel movie. Because like this to me is the first Avengers movie in the MCU. Like we've skipped all the origin stories. We've just at the Avengers now. Like what's next? Who's the next big villain? Who's the next hero we're going to meet? How are they going to bring this cast together?
If they keep it as a platform, it would be cool. Like, here's the second chapter in like
exactly
like a Destiny in that way. Yeah.
I think that's what the intention is. Like, I have to think that's what the intention is with this live service game.
Yeah.
But in its current state, though, it's like, story aside, the game has got a lot of problems. Even like the loot, for example, it's like a meaningless number grind in that you really just you pick up gear. And like a lot of people saying, you don't even see the cosmetic value. Like, you don't see your hero wearing that. Like,
well, you don't. Yeah.
I personally don't care about that. But
I care big time about that. I really hate that.
Look, and I wouldn't say no to it, but like, take that aside. It's really just you pick up gear, your numbers go up. There's some perks maybe, but like, it doesn't entice me to go grind up gear or whatever. Like, if I compare this to a game like Borderlands, for example, where Borderlands is fun because you pick up new weapons and it changes the way you play the game. Here, it's like you've got the same moveset. You're going to work your way through a skill tree, but at the end of the day, you're just making your hero, you're grinding up numbers, which is meaningless.
It's like, now your attack does gamma damage, or now it does this damage, or whatever.
But just if you boil it down to like raw numbers, it means nothing because you boosting your numbers, but the enemies are just, matching your strength anyway. At no point do I go, holy shit, I picked up this really cool piece of gear. I'm like really dishing out a lot of extra damage now. It still feels like I'm Hulk. I should smash something in one hit, but it takes like a lot of hits to destroy this robot, for example. So it's like such a weird thing because the game, like,
that's where the end game falls down. Like, I mean, I haven't got there, but if the gear is not enticing, then and you finish the campaign, what are you grinding for? Like, at the end?
Yeah, like, I think people will find joy in that because, look, I'm that person who enjoys the number grinding, but in this regard, I'm just like, I don't get it. There's nothing that gets me excited for going back. The only thing that would get me going back is, like I said, more stories or
especially when those because they intersperse some of those missions in the campaign, which I really hate. Those those like really cookie cutter open worlds with the like aim bases, and like that's all you're grinding at the end of the game, and those suck. Those are so boring. Like,
yeah, I mean, even on that, the level variety it seems very bare bones at the moment. Like, again, this is, you can see it's the games as a service thing. It's just the base, like it's the base foundation of what's to come. Yeah, and like, I don't know, it's so weird. Like, it just takes away from what it's
at the very least. Like, if you look at something like Destiny's expansions are all, they're big deals, but they're big deals because of the gear that they add, the powers sometimes they add. Generally, well, this is my experience, Destiny's lore is like incomprehensible to me. So all the stories that come with each of the expansions is just a means to get to like the end game. And I just like fly through it because the story means nothing to me. So I feel like the Avengers has done the opposite thing, where it's like it's made this compelling campaign, but everything else after that is like just bare bones and not worth it. Yeah.
Except outside of the campaign, you mentioned earlier the menus. Oh my god, those
so
menus!
Bad.
Like, okay, we can just pivot onto this quickly. The bugs and the shit in this game that really, really hold it on. The menus, like, if you're about to launch a mission,
you're playing on base PS4, right?
Base PS4. Okay, so you haven't even got to the point where you can choose your different heroes. Okay.
Yeah.
If you go to you're about to launch a mission, you choose a hero. I'm not even joking. If you click on one, it takes like at least 10 to 15 seconds to load that hero, and you can't change to any of the other ones.
Yep.
If you pick up lore, like when I started this game, I was reading the lore, listening to the logs.
I gave up on that.
Very interesting. I honest to God gave up because it was just, even the menu itself is such a chore to navigate. It's like that it'd be found on PC because it's the little mouse cursor. It's not intuitive on PS4.
Oh, I mean, it's the same method they use for Destiny, but Destiny's menus feel like night and day snappier. And I don't even like Destiny's menus. I think they're also like a bit slow and whatever. But compared to this, the menu system here is so bad.
Like, here's an example. If you imagine like rows of like lore, let's say, if you on a one, say the bottom left that doesn't line up with something on the top, you can't push up. You have to like move over.
Oh, that's annoying. It should you should be able to use your D-pad to just snap it.
It just snap up to the top, right? There's just little things like that. I mean, I don't know. Like, it feels, this game was delayed, right?
It was meant to come out in May, I think.
Yeah. I don't know what state it was in then. Holy shit! Because if it was delayed to fix bugs, like they still have a lot of work ahead of them. I mean, have you fallen off the map at all?
Yep.
Where it's like an insta death.
Yep.
Okay, how long does it take for your PlayStation to load to do that again?
Yeah, that's the one thing. When you die, it takes forever to load again.
It
Like,
takes
what the
forever
hell?
to load in.
Like, I thought, okay, the initial load into the map's going to be intense because a lot of games like load in a lot of assets and then switch between them. You know, like Last of Us. The Last of Us, when you first load into that game, it's like really long
takes
because
a
it's
while,
loading
yeah.
everything. But when you die, you're back pretty quickly, type of thing. This one takes It's like it feels like
takes so
Bloodborne
long.
when it was unpatched. It just takes forever to get back into a game.
So long. I mean, and it's very easy. There are sequences we have to platform along, and it's not that they're hard, but there are times when you might misjump or miss like a
It's
prompt,
very
whatever,
easy,
and you fall, and
Especially because that camera is super unwieldy. I'm not a fan of the camera at all.
gosh.
Like especially playing as some of the bigger characters like the Hulk, where it's like, oh, you got to look for this blue or yellow ring for counters, and it's like he takes up most of the screen. I can't see shit. Like, how am I meant to see that?
I mean, and then like in terms of bugs, I had a map. I don't know if you've had any bugs yourself, but I had one instance where I fought like a big boss, and this makes me think of old PC gaming. Have you ever had it where like the sound gets stuck and it loops? It's like,
I've had that before, but not in Avengers yet.
Okay, it happened to me, and I was like, oh, for goodness sake. But I'm like, about to beat this boss. It's fine. I've got subtitles. I'll beat the boss, and hopefully it'll just fix it when it loads the next area. It didn't. I beat the boss. It started saying dialogue, and then it froze. I was like, oh, let me reboot my game. I should save just before the boss fight. It did not save before the boss fight. I had to repeat that whole level. I was like, that left such a sour taste in my mouth. I was like, oh,
that'd be
my
where I
God.
turned off the console for that. Just like, fuck this, I'm out.
I
Like,
was so upset. But I mean,
I've had that game
yeah.
crash on me twice.
Okay, I haven't had that.
It also makes my PS4 Pro sound like it is
Shit.
taking off.
I don't think I've had any other game that makes my PlayStation
Yeah,
sound
this is bad.
the way this
Like,
game.
The Last of Us 2 made the PS4 loud, but this is horrendous.
My PlayStation is a straight up jet engine about to go into orbit.
And it's I've seen people in San Francisco, colleagues of mine, saying that it's actually forced the PlayStation off because of overheating, because it's hot there now. It's still like summer. And so it's just bad. Like, a lot of people going, I didn't even know the PlayStation had this. Like, it's just straight up cooking that poor thing. And on top of that, like, at least on the Pro, the performance is not fantastic. Like, it's still dropping frames every now and then.
It's not great.
If I switch to the
either,
performance mode, the performance mode is like, cool, now you're at 40 frames per second, which is shit, because it's like, it's juddery. And so the game looks... I think it looks better than it did in the beta, because when I played it in the beta, I was like, this looks kind of like bland, and it's got a lot of effects going on, and I think they just maybe push it a bit too far. It also just, with all those effects, I can't tell what's happening in combat. Like, I legitimately cannot tell when I need a counter. Like, it's impossible.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. So it's weird, because if I think back to our earliest conversations about this game, like, one of our biggest concerns was, like, how do you make an Avengers game that's coherent, that makes it feel good to play each character? And to be honest, I think they nailed that. Like, I do think like we've said, you know, there's a bit of overlap between them. They've bit samey, but at the end of the day, they are still distinct. And I think playing through the story with them, it's really good. Like, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But shit, like, my final verdict, there's a lot holding this game back. And it's weird, because it's like a games as a service thing, and it will get better. I have to hope it'll get better. And
hopefully.
And I do think, like, the foundation's there. Like, I do see it getting better, but in its current form, it's, I don't know. Like, yeah.
I think the campaign really saves it, because without that campaign, this would be a really, like, confusing use of the Marvel license to me. But I think the campaign is surprisingly, I mean, I'm still playing through it, but it is nowhere near the level of a Spider-Man, like, not even close. But it is a good game. It's better than I expected, but that's about it. Like, when you finished it, it's about a 14, 15-hour campaign.
No, if you do side missions, you'll stretch it out. But I just mainlined the hell out of the campaign. It's about 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah. And like when you're done, already I'm looking at the missions that I know will be the end game grind, and I'm like, I don't want to do those. They look really crap. So yeah, I foresee myself like playing the campaign and then just putting this away and probably not touching it for a very long time.
Look, I want to maybe go back for a bit just to actually jump into the post game content and do some of those side missions, because I didn't touch them, but there are separate stories like tied to each character, which like
those iconic missions are not bad. I did one for the Hulk, which was pretty cool. I do want to unlock his tuxedo suit costume. Very cool.
It's so good.
Very dapper.
Very dapper. Last thing before we move on, the antagonists in that game, the boss fight's not great for the most part.
I've heard.
Very, very forgettable. And the antagonists, it's just, I don't know, like you've got Charles Talton and his assistant Monica, which I'm like, from the whole MCU, or the whole Marvel universe, so not MCU, there's a lot of people to choose from. They really, really went with like a bare bones intro, I feel, because they want to save like Thanos and all these other big dudes for other content
later.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So it's just such.
And also, like, I don't get their motivations. Like, they're just evil.
No.
Like, I don't understand why.
No, they're trying to rid the world of superheroes because they're bad for the world. And I'm like, okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, cool
okay,
stuff.
yeah. Anyway.
And I don't know if you've heard this, but for most of the game, the scientist as Charles Talton.
Yeah, becomes MODOK, doesn't he?
Becomes MODOK. At no point in the game does he ever say, like, I'm MODOK.
Oh.
Literally no point in the game did he say, I'm MODOK. But at one point in the story, everyone just knows him as MODOK.
Oh.
It's like literally in one sentence, it's like Iron Man saying, like don't do this, Talton. And the next sentence, like, yeah, MODOK's going to do this. And we're like,
where did that come from? Yeah.
Where did that come from? Even like Kamala, I know we're talking about this game forever. But even Kamala, it's such a weird thing because I would have loved for her to have a whole story of how she gets her superhero name. We just know it's Kamala, but on the menu, she's Ms. Marvel.
Yeah, like how did we get there? Yeah.
It would have been cool if she was just Kamala Khan for the whole game. Then at some point, it's like, oh yeah, like cool, you're pretty good as a superhero. We're going to call you Miss Marvel. But yeah, I don't know. It's just little things like that. I think just really like a lot of things like that.
They kind of just expect you to know this stuff. Like,
yeah.
And you know, yeah, like you said, like if this is like the video game version of the MCU, it's kind of crappy because the MCU films do a lot of legwork, kind of like establishing everyone. And, you know, I mean, before the MCU really kicked off, the normal person wouldn't know. I mean, they would recognize someone like Iron Man, maybe, or the Hulk, but they wouldn't know who like a Black Widow was, or Guardians of the Galaxy, fucking God forbid. But now you can mention Star-Lord or Drax, and people know immediately who he is because it's always like established. Yeah, it's like, oh, you know who Miss Marvel is? Sweet. Like, cool. Oh, you know MODOK? He's that, and even MODOK is such an obscure villain from Marvel. I don't know. Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
So, did you play anything else this week? Was that all you managed to dabble with?
Yeah, last night I got to touch on, for the first time, some Minecraft dungeons.
Nice.
Yeah, Johnny was around and I was like, let's play something, co-op. And I didn't want to play Overcooked because we always play Overcooked.
And you don't want to end your relationship, so it's cool.
So I was like, oh, Minecraft dungeons, I haven't tried, and I've heard it's like a pretty light, like Diablo-like, and it is in most regards. It's a very light Diablo-like. It's pretty fun. I think the combat is pretty cool.
What did you play it on? Sorry,
on Xbox.
Okay.
Yeah, so
because you got that Game Pass.
Yeah, exactly. It's just on Games Pass. So I just downloaded it, and boom, there we were playing. And yeah, it's fun. It's like I don't know. They try to put a story in Minecraft which I find really weird. But the levels themselves are pretty cool. They're like procedurally generated levels, like dungeons, and it's very Diablo-like. You're just hacking and slashing. You've got to you've got a main weapon and you've got a ranged weapon. So you can always shoot arrows, or right now I'm using double daggers, so I'm attacking really fast and stuff
cool.
like that. And then every weapon, so with every level you gain, you get what they call like an enchantment point. And that is like a currency that can be used to add like effects onto your weapons, like fire damage or like random drops on your kills, stuff like that. But when you dismantle a weapon, you get all the points that you invested into that weapon back. So basically, you like whenever you get new gear, you're basically respecking your character every single time.
Okay.
So like it's like, oh, okay, cool, I got better daggers and better armor. I'm gonna scrap my old ones, get all my enchantment points back, and respec on these new weapons, because each weapon and piece of armor only has 3 potential like passive abilities, and they're all randomized. So even though I get daggers, say I'm replacing daggers with daggers, I might not be able to add fire damage in the same way. It might roll a different passive, and I just have to work with that. So it's like that part I find a bit like it creates a bit of friction with the really easygoing gameplay nature, because it's like Shani was, for instance, picking up new gear and then having to scrap gear and then enchant new items. And eventually she's like, this is getting really annoying. Like every time I get a good drop, I basically have to respec. And
redo everything.
Yeah, I agreed. Like it was like not just like switching your weapons. It was like, oh, I have to go into all of these menus and respec.
It's bad enough for someone like Shani, who's a casual gamer, for even her to be like, listen,
yeah,
I'd have to keep respecking my shit.
It really was like, it was cool that you can respec so often, but it was like, man, I'm doing this like 2 to 3 times every level because I'm picking up good gear. But the gameplay feels kind of fun and snappy. Each like little level, like you can take on the levels in any order you want. And they do like the Diablo thing where you can increase the difficulty
to get better gear
gear. Yeah. So there was a bit of unevenness. Last night we tried a level 3 times where we were blazing past. We put it on a higher difficulty, but we were blazing past everyone. And then the final boss was like instantly killing us. And I was just like, I don't understand this. So yeah, that was a bit like annoying because you basically get team lives. So if both of you go down, you lose a team life. I think you get 3 per level. And if you lose, you have to restart that entire level. And the levels are quite long. They're like a good 20, 25 minutes. So to lose all that progress on the last boss when you were just like pummeling through everyone else beforehand, that sucked. But other than that, the gear was pretty fun. I found it like preferred giving me gear over her. Because I was like player 1, and at one point I was like, why is it? Because it earmarks gear per player, so you don't have to like arrows, consumables like arrows and health items. You have to decide who's going to pick it up, but gear it will be color coded. It will be like, this is for this person. It's reserved.
Okay.
Yeah. But like it was giving me a lot of shit at one point and not like dishing it out evenly. But there's some really cool like abilities, because you've got your sword and your arrow and your armor, and then you've got 3 like item slots, and those items are like powers that you can equip that all work on cooldowns. So like one of them, I had like a firework that replaced my arrow for 1 shot, so it could do like a big area of effect thing. I then had like a mushroom that would make me stronger and damage resistant for a few seconds that I could use quite often. Shani had it almost looked like a drumstick of meat that summoned a wolf all the time, which was really cool. So we always had this like wolf companion, which was really fun. And then she had a really useful like horn, which would knock back enemies and stun them. So if we ever got overwhelmed, like it was like really so like combining all those abilities, it felt like a cool Diablo like, and just like really easy to get into, which I appreciated. I really like it. I can see playing it with friends would be better than solo. I think solo it would just be a bit monotonous and boring. But
is it for 4-player?
Yes, I think I might be wrong, but I think if you're playing locally, it's only 2. But then if you play online, you can be up to 4 in a
4.
party. Yeah, and it
Okay,
all scales
that's cool.
accordingly.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And there's obviously crossplay, so you can play PC and Xbox
Ooh.
players together. Yeah,
Nice.
it was
But,
fun.
I mean, when that game came out, I've got Game Pass. I really want to try it. It's just a matter of when do I try it?
Yeah.
With all this free time I have on my hands.
I knew I wanted to try it in like a co-op sense because when I was watching it, I was like, this looks fun, but it also looks a bit like it's not something I think I'll play alone. But
yeah.
it's also on Switch, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and
Yeah,
PS4.
it's on Switch.
Yeah. It's fun. I think as a co-op thing, it's really cool to like burn a few hours on. I was having a good
nice,
time. Yeah.
I need to check it out.
What else did you play? You played?
Yeah, we're running out of time here, but I'll quickly say that I finished the Avengers campaign last night at like midnight. I thought, well, you know what? No one else is online really playing anything. Let me bounce to another superhero game, and I picked up Spider-Man again.
The good Marvel game.
You weren't kidding. I was really close to the end.
You were like right there.
Like two hours later, I'd rolled credits. So I finished Avengers and I rolled credits on Spider-Man. What a good evening for superheroes.
How good is that ending to Spider-Man?
Spider-Man is like, if you've got a PlayStation and you like me slept on it, don't. Just pick up the game and play it. It is
what a game.
Like that story, I keep thinking back on it, on all the characters and just the beats. Like, I really enjoy that interpretation of Peter Parker and Mary Jane and Miles. Like, it just came together so well. And even the villains, like, I mean, I'm not gonna spoil obviously, but like Mr. Negative, all the cast of villains you go up against, like, it's very memorable. And I'm finally on the same page of like, I really want to see more of Miles Morales coming to PS5.
Yeah,
now.
coming to PS5. I'm super stoked for that.
Sorry, that spoiler, that was spoiled for me as well, is that, well, he's the hero of the game. I mean, at some point he must get powers.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that they
And-
put that in their marketing and it was like a mid-credits thing, like that just added.
Yeah, so, I mean, I just think overall, like, what a fantastic, like, superhero game. Like, I think it takes a lot of inspiration from the likes of Batman, who set up that whole combat system, for example.
Yes,
Like, that DNA has, like, bled through to a lot of other games in terms of the combat. But, shit, if you're looking for a game where you just swing through the city and you just do so many side things, it is really, really good.
That final
that's
fight
all I'll
is
say.
really good, I think. I think the way the camera angles and you just you get like highly detailed fist fights. It's so good.
And let me tell you, the performance of that versus Avengers, night and day, which just shows like the benefit of being a first party developer on Sony. Like, they really optimize the shit out of their games.
I also think Sony makes sure they do that. They're like, listen.
Yep. But it was quite something to come from Avengers to Spider-Man, which just runs perfectly.
Yeah.
Doesn't take a year to load.
What was your favorite costume? I found the costume powers, I ended up not really caring so much, but visually I really liked a bunch of them.
I really liked I can't think of the name now, but it's the very futuristic looking. I think it's one where you get the arms as a power.
Oh,
What's it
that's the
called?
Scarlet Spider.
Scarlet Spider,
Or
I don't know.
Iron Spider. It's the
Iron
red and
Spider,
gold
yeah.
one, yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that suit.
That one's cool. I like that suit's power as well. I think it's a very cool power. I like the
yeah.
comic booky one. I really like that cel-shaded comic book one.
I put it on. I was like, I can't play like this. It's too jarring.
Especially in
so weird.
cutscenes. It's like, oh, this is weird. Yeah.
It's so weird.
I just think
I didn't play that one,
I would
but-
play a game that looks entirely like that as well. I think it just looks awesome.
If they did a whole spin-off Spider-Man game like that, I'd be down to play it.
I also really like the costume you get right at the end of the game. No spoilers here.
No spoilers.
And actually just, you know, when they first revealed it, Insomniac's version of the Spider, you know, Spider-Man suit with the white spider.
I really like that suit.
Yeah, it grew on me. It really grew on me as I played. I really like, for some reason, the boots on that one. They look like cool sneakers. I don't know. They look really fun.
But on that last suit, though, just contextually, I'm not going to spoil. But it's like, Peter's like, I don't know how I'm going to beat this supervillain. And then, like, he goes and he makes this new suit, but they don't tell you why the suit is designed to beat the supervillain. It's just
Yeah.
a new suit, which
It
I
looks
thought was a bit
dope.
weird.
Yeah, it was just like, okay, cool, this
It's
is a
like,
new suit.
How
but
about I
it's
beat this
dope.
villain? I'm just going to wear a dope-ass suit and I'm
Yeah.
going to beat him.
I also like Peter Parker underwear Spider-Man. That's really good. That's like
Underwear
that's
Spider-
like Walk of Shame Spider-Man.
I really, really like this Peter Parker. I think it is
Yeah.
like, if I think of, I mean, I've seen many interpretations of Spider-Man, whether it be through the comics, through the like animated show when I was a kid, through the many Spider-Man versions we've had on screen, and I think this. I don't know who's the voice actor. Again?
Yuri Lowenthal.
I really like. I think that game just came out in a year. He was up against some stiff competition, but I think he really nailed Peter Parker. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
superbly. Like,
Yeah. I think the
very-
writing is so good as well. The
Yeah.
interactions between him and Mary Jane are just like perfect.
But between a lot of the characters,
Yeah.
I mean, shit. Like, I think back in the 9, I really enjoyed that game. Like,
I think one of my best interactions in that game was when Peter and Mary Jane are kind of like toying with the idea of rekindling their relationship, and like
Yeah.
Peter's like just come off a battle and he's like messaging Mary Jane and like stressing about how to reply to her. I
Yes.
was like, this is so perfect.
It is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would recommend.
Here's
and
your
yeah,
trivia
before-
for the day. Yuri Lowenthal, also the voice of
Yeah.
the prince in Prince of Persia, Sands of Time.
Really
Back in the
OG.
day, and he's
No
reprising it
ways.
for the remake. Yeah.
He's coming back. That's cool. Okay, I see we've gone a long
Also,
time talking
Yuri
about games.
Yuri Lowenthal and, if I'm not mistaken, the voice actress for Mary Jane are actually like married in real life or something like that.
Well, that's just perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, it's something like that. Or I might be getting that wrong, but I swear I read that around somewhere. Yeah.
You heard it, yeah, it's fact. Don't
Is it
question
fact?
us. We
Okay.
know. Before we bounce to game releases, I'm not going to talk about it now because I'm going to play more during the week. But I don't know, I've asked you this. Have you heard of a game called Among Us?
Well,
heard of it,
I
but-
feel like everyone's heard of it now. It's become so popular.
It's this indie game that came out 2 years ago, and it has just taken over the streaming world. It's
By
basically by storm. It's basically a game of werewolf. If that makes, I don't know if you know werewolf or.
See, this is what
Mafia.
confused me because it's a space one. So I thought it was the one you were playing a while ago, but you're saying that's a different one.
It's a different one. It's basically like a game of imposter, and I will talk more about it next week. But let me tell you, you should join this week because it'll teach you who of your friends are really good at lying, and who are assholes, and who are backstabbers, and all the good things in life.
What I like about the style of it is it reminds me of StarCraft.
Oh, the shorts,
Yes.
what they're called, cardboard animations.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the one.
Actually,
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
It looks like all the characters look like the Space Marines from that.
They really do. So yeah, I've played a lot of that this week. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. But I'll talk more about that next week. I'll get
Cool.
into it.
Should we get
Yeah,
to
that's-
games releases?
Ooh, there's a lot of game talk, a lot of superhero talk.
And there's a
Yeah,
lot of
let's
news.
get to. Oh boy.
Well,
And
not a
there's
lot of news,
questions.
just big news stories. Let's see.
Yeah.
We're looking at game releases from September 12th. My goodness. September 12th to September, I think it's 18th? Yeah, 18th. Let's see
I'm
here.
ready.
Oh, God, I was in October. That's not correct. September
no.
12th to September 18th. Okay. So on September 15th, Spelunky 2 comes to PS4. Very exciting.
Spelunky. I started to play the first Spelunky.
Spelunky 2, very keen on it. It's actually coming to PC later this month on September 29th, so don't have to wait too long
Shit.
on PC. So yeah, I think, personally, if you get into Spelunky, that's going to be your stream game for a while, because I see you getting super into it. It's like your type of game.
Is it a roguelite?
Yes.
Well, shit.
It's a roguelite, and it's got I don't know if you ever watched Danny O'Dwyer's No Clip documentary series, but he had a run which is all about secrets in games, and Spelunky is renowned for, you know, all the different like secrets it hides in games. Like, what if you carry this thing throughout your entire run? What if you find this thing? What if you do this thing? How does it affect the ending? It's an incredibly, like, it's a treasure trove of permutations and incredible like results So yeah, I'm very excited to see how Spelunky 2 adds to that.
Goddamn.
You will 100% fall into a hole with this game. I'm almost sure of it.
No, stay
Especially
away.
because it's like very twitchy, platformy, very high risk, high reward. Yeah.
No reward. Well, now you're speaking my language.
It's also very hard, so it's 100% your type of thing.
I'm there.
So that's out on PS4 on September 15th. Also on September 15th, we get, so this is a weird one, the PES, Pro Evolution Soccer 2021 season update. So they decided this year that they weren't going to come out with a brand new game, as far as I can tell, not like a standalone, but that they're releasing like a $30 like update to the current game. So like updated rosters, updated little visual touches here and there, some updated game modes, but they're not charging $60 for the full thing because they don't see it as like a standalone thing. So yeah, I guess
that's interesting though.
Yeah, I guess that's fine. Especially with the cross-gen phase, I guess next year. I think also part of this was Konami, they're moving away from the Fox engine for PES and moving to Unreal for the next one. So they needed time, to make that conversion.
Get that shit out,
Yeah.
The Fox engine is great though.
Yeah, I guess now there's no games using the Fox engine, which is
It's so sad.
wow. Yeah.
Can I get an F in chat for Metal Gear Solid 5?
Jesus, yeah.
That engine is fantastic.
It's
like,
such
why
a
would
great
you not
engine.
use
Yeah.
that? So,
It's-
yeah.
And now it's not being used for anything. Konami's just got this great engine, just like
Rup.
not. Yeah. We've got a game called Welcome to Elk. I
Okay.
guess Welcome to Deer. I don't know. That's coming to PC and Xbox One on September 17th.
Nice.
On September, so now we've got a trio of games on September 18th, all ranging from pretty cool to utterly terrible, I think.
Oh boy.
Crisis
There we go.
Remastered, PC, PS4, and Xbox One on September 18th. Remember, this was delayed because people didn't think that it looked as remastered as it could be. But this week, they released a trailer showing software-based ray tracing on current-gen consoles, which is a kind of a cool technique, and it looks
That's
pretty
cool.
good. Yeah, Crisis Remastered. If you haven't played Crisis, I think it's still worth playing. It's a great first-person shooter still. I don't know if I'll buy it again, but yeah.
No.
Super Mario 3D All-Stars is out on Switch September 18th. So that's Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy.
Oh boy.
With very little
The
done
best
to them.
Mario.
Like very little. Apparently Mario 64 still runs at 4:3. It's not a 16:9 game, which is
What?
interesting. Listen, not a lot is done to them in terms of like remastering, which seems a bit crappy, but like I'm keen to play Sunshine and Galaxy, which I've never played before, so I don't know if I'll play
Have you-
64. It seems very old. Yeah, it seems very
I
old.
want to try 64 just for the fact that it is such a revolutionary title.
That
Like,
is
at
true,
the time
yeah.
it was.
There's
I mean, it looks ugly as hell by today's standards, but I'll give it a try. Oh man, I'm so excited for you to play Galaxy.
that's the one I'm most
shit.
excited for, is to play Galaxy.
I know I'm harping it way too much, but the game is like, it's so good. It's still my favorite Mario game.
I know Jeff also says like he enjoyed Odyssey a lot, but he's like it didn't give him the sense of wonder that Galaxy did the first time he played it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm super stoked to play Galaxy. And then the real bad for the week, WWE 2K Battlegrounds. This game looks terrible. Every time I write about it, I'm just like, because they're
This
not
one
making
with the giant heads.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, the giant heads. It looks like those plastic dolls they make for wrestlers.
Oh my
Listen,
god.
it looks arcadey and it could maybe be cool, but it just looks bad. I think it looks like a bad game. And yeah, anyway, that's PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Maybe it will be great. I
Maybe not.
have my doubts.
We'll see.
Yeah. So yeah, that's games. Let's get to news. Let's not beat around the bush. We finally got prices for next-gen consoles. Can you believe it?
Oh my. Oh.
From an not unlikely source, I guess. But so basically, the worst-kept secret in console news ever, the Xbox Series S, which is Microsoft's lower cost, lower performance. Yeah, Project Lockhart. Lower cost, lower performance next-gen console. It got super leaked again this week. basically a video revealing all of its features and its release dates and price. So instead of like sticking to the original plan, which according to Phil Spencer was to reveal the console this coming week, Microsoft just made it official. They're like, yep, Series X is real. It is a $300 next-gen console. It comes out on November 10th. And then the day after that, they were like, Xbox Series X, $500, November 10th.
Which is literally, if we could go back and just collect all of our predictions, and I think a lot of industry predictions, a lot of people thought that next-gen consoles were just going to straight up be $599.
Like, yeah, I expected $600 for the Series X.
The hardware and just where we are at this point in life where, you know, prices just tend to go up. Apparently not. Xbox says next-gen, we're just sticking to the $499 as the benchmark.
I was really convinced that, you know, the Series X is touted as, and it is the most powerful next generation console.
At $599.
Yeah, and I thought, you know, $599 and the PS5 is going to come in at maybe $550 or $599 as well. And you know, Microsoft's marketing will be like, sure, ours is a bit more expensive, but ours is the more powerful one. But at $500, holy shit! Like, I'm thinking about, like, you know, Nvidia just announced the RTX 3070, which is you know, it's a more powerful GPU than the Series X, yes, but it's also one component of a PC. You are getting a lot of tech in a $500 box. You are getting a 1 terabyte SSD. You're getting a brand new cutting edge GPU because it's AMD's RDNA 2 architecture, and you're getting a great 8-core CPU. It's a lot of power in a box for that price, I tell you.
I really think Xbox came out and like pulled the rug out from a lot of people, like not just Sony, even because Nvidia were like their whole reveal as well was just taking aim at console gamers. Like
100%, yeah.
Like our next cards are very affordable.
Yeah,
like PC building still very expensive, but the card very affordable for what it is, you know?
Yeah.
And then just for, like, I don't think anyone expected this. I mean, a few people might have predicted $499, but I can tell you I was shocked because, I mean, we've had some, I've told you through work, like I didn't have confirmation, but I thought the price was 100% going to be $599.
Yeah.
Like from bits and pieces that I'd seen. So for them to come out at $499, I was like, what?
It was
How did this happen?
It's a power play move. And it's a move on both ends, I think. Because, like, firstly, $599 is a great price for the console they're offering. I also think, I don't know. Listen, Sony announced that they're hosting an event on Wednesday as of this recording, which I assume will have to include price. Like, God, if they host this event and they don't disclose price, I'll be shocked. I'm still not convinced Sony can bring the PlayStation in at $500. At least not their disc-based one. At the very least, I think maybe the digital one could be $500, and the disc-based one is actually let's do this because now it will be a time capsule. What's your prediction for both of the PlayStation consoles?
I think I was saying before we started recording that the discless PS5 will be maybe $450.
Okay.
I don't know.
think so, but okay.
Yeah, I'm very scared to stick to that because maybe the discless one will be $500 as well. Actually, I'll go with that. Okay, so the discless PS5. No, you know what? I'm going to stick to it. Discless PS5 $450.
Okay. And the disc-based one?
Actual no. Discless PS5 $499.
Okay.
Actual PS5 $550. Sorry, I'm just trying to think about it.
Okay, that was my prediction, but I'll go $499 for discless and $599 for disc-based.
You think it'll be $100 more for the disc-based?
You know what I think? I think the only way, if Sony had, you know, I'm sure they had prices locked in, but I'm sure neither company had. I'm sure both companies had a contingency plan to say, if one or the other goes ahead of us first, this is how much wiggle room we can have for our pricing. And I think if Sony has that plan in place, I'm not saying they do, but if they have, I think the best they could do was stretch the margin on the digital one to $100 difference.
$200, yeah.
Because I don't think, like we were saying before the show, I wrote a piece on GameSpot if you want to read up about like how Xbox's pricing I think affects the PlayStation 5. I don't think Sony as a company has the sort of power that Microsoft has to really mess with their price as much as I think they have with the Xbox Series X and S, because Xbox is nowhere near Microsoft's biggest moneymaker, like not even close. Whereas PlayStation is Sony's most profitable business venture. Like they do not have the capital or the financial stability to completely undercut a company like Microsoft. And I think that's where Microsoft went wrong last gen, was like they had this ability to do that and they just let Sony undercut them, which was like the most bizarre move ever. Like, so I think they've learned from that. And I think, I think if the PlayStation 5 was already priced at $500, they'll keep it that way. I don't think they'll undercut it more. But I think with all that's gone into the PS5, especially that custom SSD, them bringing it in below $600 would shock me. So yeah, I think $600 or $599 and $499 for the digital. And I think the digital pricing probably changes to try and tackle the Series X. And at $499 all digital, it's still a good price.
Yeah,
I think it's I don't think it's like, oh well, they fucked up. I think even it's $599 for the normal PS5, I think Sony's first party studios make up a lot of a lot of that price difference in terms of like, hey, we have a lot of games that you want to play. You know what I mean? So, but this is where, in my view, the Series S is such a smart move, because the Series S then is just like, it's for the consumer who doesn't engage with a lot of games news, doesn't really, just sees, oh, there's next gen consoles coming out, and you go into the holiday season and you've got a console that costs $300, and then you've got two consoles that cost maybe $500 and $600.
Yeah.
And all of them are playing next gen games. And if you are the type of player that plays, you're there for your Call of Duty or your Destiny. Destiny's a big one because it's on Game Pass. Or you're there for like your annual sports games. That console makes far more sense than a $600 PlayStation.
Exactly.
Even, to me, even people I've seen who actually engage with games news are like, I don't have a 4K TV. I don't have a 4K TV. I don't have a TV that does HDMI 2.1. So why am I paying more for 4K 60 FPS when I don't have a TV that does that?
You can't even use it yet, yeah.
And a lot of people go, okay, but future-proofing. And yeah, that's fine. Microsoft is giving you that console if you're concerned about that. But if you really don't care, like, you've got a much cheaper console to go for.
Exactly.
Whereas PlayStation doesn't,
It's like nearly half the price, yeah.
So
crazy.
I think it's a smart move, like a really, really smart move. I'm interested to see how, because it's a much weaker console in terms of graphical power. So the Series S has the same CPU and the same SSD as the X. It's got a smaller SSD. It's 512 as opposed to 1 terabyte. But like, I know Digital Foundry on their latest podcast, they pondered this. Will it hold Xbox Series X games back, especially the first party exclusives, because like they're going to need to run on both. There's also a big RAM difference. These S only has 10 gigs as opposed to the 16 gigs on the Series X. But they're different to like PC RAM. It's all of it is video memory that's shared, which is normally all in your GPU. And like you and I know on PC, video memory is mostly used for large 4K textures. As soon as you ramp up the resolution, your video memory requirement exponentially increases. So there needs to be more proof from games that that's a problem, because right now I don't see a huge issue between the discrepancy between the two. But
I think sorry, finish.
No, go for it.
I was going to say that we've said it for months, maybe even more than a year now, that Microsoft like every single decision they've made, every move they've made has been so smart. Like it's interesting when we think back to before the next gen conversation started. Like you would think, PlayStation own like they own this gen, they're going to clearly own the next generation, like hands down. Like they've got all the exclusives. Xbox One hasn't really made a dent. Like, look, it's got its player base, but it hasn't sold nearly as well, say, the 360 did.
Yeah, not even close. Yeah.
It's like a drop in the ocean compared. going into the next gen, like PlayStation holds all the cards, but the way all the stuff Microsoft's been doing, like with Game Pass, with Lockhart, with xCloud, it's actually kind of terrifying to think that in 5 years from now, I don't think this would happen, but imagine in 5 years from now, PlayStation actually just loses the generation, and they're like in dire danger of closing doors, for example, just because like they've made some moves that just bled money, for example. It's just crazy to think that Microsoft are like they're in such a powerful position now that that's the sort of thing that could happen.
Yeah,
like
they really are.
It's been many generations since like console people fell off the market, but it could happen. Like I don't know, the stakes are just so high. It feels like
it nearly happened. I thought at one point it was going to happen to Microsoft because when Microsoft got their new CEO during this generation of consoles, Satya Nadella, like he at first seemed very not interested in Xbox, and at a point it seemed like Microsoft was looking to like sell Xbox as a brand. But then they did like a complete reversal. They got Phil Spencer in. They made Phil Spencer an executive at Microsoft, not just the head of Xbox. So he has a lot of say. Like he reports directly to Satya Nadella, and I think he's turned it around in a big way. I think a lot of people like, yes, Xbox is still missing the games, but I also think those are longer things to pull off. Like they've made all these studio acquisitions. They need the time now.
That's another point to my conversation, is that they've got all these studios now as well. And in a year or two, those studios are going to churn out games that they're currently working on. And I don't know, maybe the Xbox Series X will have 5 exclusives like the PlayStation has, God of War or Bloodborne, where they make you go, holy shit, like I have to have an Xbox for this, or PC.
I do think their focus is different though. Like Sony seems all in on single player narrative adventures. You've got The Last of Us, Spider-Man, Bloodborne, Ratchet and Clank, stuff like that. And even though Microsoft is buying up these studios, they aren't necessarily, from my understanding and looking at the games they've announced, they're not going for that same market. You know what I mean? They're heavily invested in like your Forzas. They're heavily invested in like Halo Infinite as a platform going forward. The rumors of the initiative working on a what's it? Perfect Dark sort of sequel. That could be something that could be cool. You know, like a third party or a third person like narrative adventure. So I don't know. They feel like they're doing different things, but I do think different is good because not everyone buys a console for single player adventures.
No.
That's Sony's calling card, but like you look at the amount of look at what Spider-Man and Uncharted, they sell close to like 15 million copies of an 80 million install base. Like it's still really good for first party, but it shows you that the large majority of PS4 players, that's not all of what they want to play. Exactly. So just aiming at that seems a bit weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So don't get me wrong. Like what I was saying earlier, it's like a wild card. Like, oh my god, PlayStation are gonna die, sort of thing. I don't think that'll happen because PlayStation, like you said, they've just got a different approach, and it doesn't mean they're wrong. I just think that Microsoft's positioning is so smart for the next gen that they are going to do exceptionally well, I feel.
I definitely think so, yeah. They're in a much better position than they were at the beginning of the last gen. Like, there's no questioning that.
It's funny how it seems that these console companies like skip generations for the most part. Well, like, so for example, the original Xbox came out. I think it did fine, but like definitely not Microsoft's best console. The 360 came out, and they were like, the 360 was really good. I mean, it came out a year earlier than the PS3, but I think it did very well that generation.
It did,
much cheaper. It did super well that generation, and then I think Xbox One was like
PS3 only caught up in the final year of that gen. Like,
yeah, and look, I suppose you could blame PS3 for being like super expensive at launch, difficult architecture,
very
like
cocky
a lot of different
Sony
reasons. But I mean, it's the same with Nintendo. Like they had the Wii, which was like this knockout hit. The Wii U was just like a disaster. The Switch now, like
very
massive
good
success.
Yeah,
I think if that little trend is to be believed, that the new Xbox is just, it's going to be very good. Like and I have to think it'll be good.
I really hate this. I mean, it's, you know, it feels like it's widespread, but I guess it's not really, because it's just small pockets of people and like a little bubble on Twitter. But like this persistence that like, oh, Sony is going to land this knockout punch on Xbox this gen. Why would you want that? Like, why do you want one company to completely take out their competition? It's bad for the industry. Like, straight up. Like, anyone who's on PC will tell you that is exactly why Nvidia stagnated the way they did. It's exactly why Intel stagnates the way they do, because they have no competition. Like, it's the reason Nvidia could bring out cards like the RTX 20 series, which as cards I like really good cards, but there was no adoption because they were way too expensive. They didn't bring enough performance gains. But Nvidia could do it because, hey, AMD had absolutely nothing to offer as a counterpoint. And it's the same way that Intel has used the same architecture on their CPUs for like 4 generations now. And only now are feeling the pressure because AMD has come to the party. Like, competition benefits the consumer all the time. So this is why I feel like this generation I'm rooting so heavily for Microsoft, because it's going to push Sony as well. Like, they need it.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, we don't know what will happen in the next few years. Like, maybe Sony do come out with a Game Pass-like service, for example. In a response, they're like, oh shit, actually Game Pass is what's pulling people over to Xbox. We need to have our own offering. Like, you don't know.
Imagine a generation where Sony's PS3 and their decisions, you know, they're like, get a second job for our $600 console, or their complete ambivalence towards independent games, because they really didn't care at the time. Imagine those two decisions weren't reversed in a way because of Microsoft's dominance that generation. Sony would have never learned from that. So, like, a lot of where Sony is now can be attributed to the huge knock that they got from the 360 and them refusing to make that same mistake. And it benefits us.
That pushed the PS4 into the place it is today.
Exactly.
Definitely. And I mean, I would go one further to say that the PlayStation 4 success is what pushed Xbox to do what they are doing today.
100%, yeah.
It's 100% a response to like, oh shit, like we need to have our, like, what is our solution, or what differentiates us from PlayStation?
I mean, just...
Or they don't have Netflix as a service for games. We do now.
Just take it back to like in 2013 when the Xbox One launched, good old Don Matrick, God. Don Matrick at the time, because they were touting at the time like, this is a console that is always online, you know, and I remember he had an interview with Jeff Keighley and it was like, so what about the people who can't, you know, always have this thing online? And Don Matrick was like, we've got a console for them, it's the Xbox 360. Like, what the fuck? Like, you would never say that now. Now, you know, in a way, you look at Microsoft now, they go, what if, you know, what if you have a player who can't spend $500 on a console? Oh, we have a console. It's the Series S. And it also plays all the next-gen games. Like, they've completely reversed the way that company worked. And it's admirable, and I hope it works. I hope it works to push Sony, you know, and it creates that dynamic again. Because this gen, I don't think... that's not to say I don't think Sony got lazy, because they put out... some of the best games ever this generation. But there's always that possibility. And without competition, it's very easy to slink back into that. So, and at the same time, they've lost a lot of the leadership that caused this generation to be so good. You know, Sean Layden. What's his name? Not Mark Cerny, the other guy. The guy who's good friends with Hideo Kojima.
Shuhei Yoshida.
No.
I don't know.
Well, Shuhei Yoshida's only doing indie games now. So, you know, they've had a shakeup. So, I don't know. They need to be pushed in the same way.
Nintendo, meanwhile, just doing their own thing.
Just doing their
always
thing.
do. They don't give a shit about PlayStation and Sony. I mean, PlayStation, Xbox.
Just my point is, like, I think it's silly to try and root for one over the other. They should be fighting each other for your attention. Like, PlayStation and Microsoft don't need you to defend them. They need you to convince you why you should be buying one or the other. And I think Microsoft has a very compelling case as to why you should buy an Xbox right now.
Yeah, I mean, last point on that. Think about when Epic came to PC. I mean, look, Steam wasn't the only digital platform. There's like...
Origin and Battle.net.
Yeah, it's Origin. There's a bunch of them. But like Epic is the one that came to the came to the platform and like really shook things up. And I think it did force Steam to go, let's maybe reevaluate a few things.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And it's working out. I mean, a lot of people are like, I don't want so many launchers. Who gives a shit? It's free.
I don't want a different app on my PC.
Yeah, anyway.
I can't have another app on my $50,000 PC. It's too much.
So that's Xbox.
That's news.
Very excited for Wednesday for when PlayStation announces their pricing. So just some other things real quick.
Nintendo see the announcement and say, you know what? Screw all of you guys. We've got a 4K Switch coming out as well.
Well, speaking of Nintendo, they just dropped another Direct this week. Just like, I don't know where. Well, the Hyrule...
Yeah. Sorry. That was this week. That was early this week, though. Damn.
Yeah, so we're getting Hyrule Warriors. What's it called? Calamity... Age of Calamity. That's the one.
Age of Calamity.
So it's a Muso game. So like Hyrule Warriors and Dynasty Warriors, and there was a Hyrule Warriors already, but it wasn't tied to any story. But I think what makes this one interesting is that it's a direct prequel to Breath of the Wild. It is Breath of the Wild starts with Link waking up 100 years after Calamity Ganon has kind of taken over Hyrule. And now you are going to get to see that battle take place with the four guardians,
champions,
four champions, Zelda and Link all fighting, and obviously losing. I guess the game ends with them losing.
Which is a bit sad.
Yeah.
Listen, I've never played any games from this developer.
Neither.
Okay.
Yeah.
I watched that trailer though, and I heard the Breath of the Wild music. I saw the champions doing the thing. I was like, oh my god, I'm all in on this.
And it seems like you get to play as all the champions.
Yeah, but that's my thing, because one of my favorite parts of Breath of the Wild was just we got like just a taste of the story of the champions, but all of their personalities came through. They're all really cool characters. This trailer drops. I just hear. It's like 5 minutes of silence in the piano note. And I'm like, yes. Okay, that's not what happened. That's the Breath of the Wild soundtrack,
that
basically.
piano, yeah.
But yeah, just what was shown. I was like, I don't know if this game will be good, but I'm all in to play as the champions and see what happened. But Joe, like you said, we all know how it ends.
Yeah, we all know how it's meant to end. It's a cool thing though, because it's developed directly with the Legend of Zelda team, so the story is connected. I think it's a very smart pivot of like, this is going to be large scale battles. So of course the Muso game makes sense because it's like thousands of enemies on the screen at a time, and that really gives a sense of scale to the whole conflict. So I'm kind of in, between this and Persona 5 Scramble, which is also a Muso game that connects to the story. Like I might get into these games; they could be fun. So it's also out in December. It's just like, here's this brand new game that wasn't leaked, that no one knew about, and it's out in 2 months. Like,
isn't it out sooner? No, is it December?
Or is it November or December?
I think it's November.
It might be November. Let me check. Hold on. Hyrule Age
Warriors.
Ooh, no. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
Age of Calamity.
It is out on... Wow, imagine I could find a very quick release date.
I think it's November. I could be wrong. But
Let's see. Amazon will tell me. Oh, you're right. 20th of November.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, 2 months almost.
Nintendo really good at shadow dropping games. I mean, the same happened with like Paper Mario. It's just like, hey, this game's coming out next month. Like, what?
Yeah, and also with like 3D All-Stars. Hey, this game is out
Mario?
in a few weeks.
Here's 3 of them out in like 3 weeks. Yeah, that's insane.
There's also Pikmin 3 Deluxe Edition coming in October. So.
Oh shit, that's out next. Oh my god, this so many
games.
Stuff.
Okay, very quick other news. We got to see Black Ops Cold War's multiplayer. Looks real good.
Pew pew.
Did you watch that trailer?
I haven't seen the multiplayer trailer, but just the game itself. I like the visual style. It's very colorful. Looks very cool.
The multiplayer looks fun. There's a map where you are like, it's like two like warships at sea, and you're using like little boats to like navigate between the two. So it's, and like zip lines. It looks really cool. I quite like it.
That's
so
cool.
Yeah, I like Modern Warfare's multiplayer, so I'm keen on trying this out.
You there?
Star Wars Squadrons. You know that other Pew Pew game?
Yes.
It's getting support on consoles for the flight sticks, the hot ass.
That's cool.
Yeah, so on day
it'll
one you'll
actually
have
fly.
support for that, which is pretty cool because of course it will work on PC, but for consoles as well is a pretty neat touch. What else? There was something here. Oh, Kenner Bridge of Spirits. Remember that PS5 exclusive?
Yes. So good.
It's been delayed to Q1 of 2021. Sad.
No,
It's also coming
meant to come out this year.
Yeah, it's coming to PS4 and PS5. It was meant to come out this year, but I mean, games being delayed this year is not anything new. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's a bit sad. We never mentioned with the Xbox consoles we have local pricing. So
yes, yeah.
Xbox Series X will go for 12,000 rand. Series S will be 7. If you are busy furiously typing a dollar conversion onto Google and shouting at your screen,
just don't. Please
there's
don't.
so many more factors involved in that. It's never that. Also, 12,000 rand for a $500 console seems pretty good considering your RTX
It's an action
3070s
console.
are starting at 15,000 rand, and they're the same price. So 7,000
explain
rand
that
for
to
a
me.
next gen console is real good. It's the same price as a Xbox One S currently.
At the moment, yeah, it's just wild.
Damn good price.
Come on.
Damn good price.
Yeah.
There was a cheeky thing in one of Phil Spencer's in the Xbox event in June. He had the Series S on a shelf behind him, and no one noticed.
Oh, yeah, I
In
saw that.
June.
So was that in June?
How cheeky is that? That's so funny.
That's a cool little Easter egg.
But he had it like lean, so it just looked like a book. Really,
It just looked like a book, yeah.
It's I thought that was quite a funny thing. Like, imagine him just
Goddamn.
recording that and being like, ha 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 ha.
If only they knew.
Yeah.
What other news we got?
Ubisoft had a thing, their Ubisoft Forward this week. God, so many things.
There's so many things.
So just
so many things.
Very quickly, we're getting a Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake. So that's real. Sands of Time is my favorite of that trilogy, so I'm keen on it. I just think visually it looks a bit odd, but I'm still keen to play it because it's a great game.
Yeah, I want to see what it looks like when it comes out.
Yeah. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is getting re-released. So that's cool. That game is pretty fun. Really enjoy
I
that.
played that on PS3 back in the day.
Aiden Pierce is coming back to Watch Dogs. Don't know why. He's terrible.
Yeah, I was like, that's just 100% a little like...
They're like, fans have been asking for him. I'm like, who?
Fans have been dying for this Aiden Pearson guy from the first one. No one asked.
No one asked.
Literally no one asked, yeah.
We got a new extreme sports MMO coming from Ubisoft from the team who made Steep called Riders Republic. So you've got like
an extreme sports
bikes,
MMO.
Snowboard, skis, wingsuits, all of that stuff. I don't know, Steep kind of like dabbled with an MMO sort of format. So I guess this is like I never liked Steep, but you know, whatever, I guess. The big one to me was Ubisoft's Breath of the Wild. Immortals Phoenix Rising. Which man really just looks like Breath of the Wild, hey.
It does.
It looks fun as hell, though. I'm keen for it.
Yeah.
It looks
good.
It looks pretty cool. It looks like a Ubisoft, open world game mixed with the color palette and open world of Breath of the Wild. So I'm keen for that, and that's out in December. So that's soonish.
That is
out in December. And then just finally, just a very quick rundown of, because now that the Xbox got a date, a lot of games got dated for like launch for the Xbox.
Yeah.
So Assassin's Creed Valhalla release date got moved up by a week to match the Xbox dates. It's launching on...
I didn't realize that.
We've got Yakuza Like a Dragon, also out on launch day. We've got Dirt 5 got delayed to match the Xbox launch as well. Gears Tactics coming to Xbox on launch day. And there was a hint by Jeff Grubbs, who's a reporter for VentureBeat and is like sort of like hinted at a lot of things for next-gen consoles that have been true. He says Microsoft are spending millions, apparently not on a studio acquisition, but on a big exclusive deal. And my guess is that they are paying a lot of money to CD Projekt Red to get Cyberpunk 2077 on Game Pass at launch.
That would be insane.
Think that would be a big thing. A very, very big thing. Like, hey, our new console's launched. Hey, biggest game of the year, free on Game Pass.
On Game Pass. Holy shit, that would be crazy. I mean, I think they've got the good relationship there, right? They've launched that Cyberpunk console earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
So the door's open there.
That, to me, the way the deal's framed, like they're not acquiring them, but they're spending lots of money on something that would be an exclusive. That, to me, that ticks the boxes. Like, there's no other game on earth you would spend lots of money on to do that for.
Yeah, Cyberpunk is like hands down
either that or Call of Duty.
Games. Yeah, but I have to agree with you. I think Cyberpunk is more the one that people are like, holy shit. Like, Call of Duty will be big, don't get me wrong. If the new if the new Cold War's on Game Pass, like, that is a big deal. But Cyberpunk is the one that would make me that's like Phil Spencer dropping them out.
Yeah. I also
we're done.
The thing that doesn't fit with the Call of Duty angle to me is that Call of Duty's marketing is still tied with Sony, and the competitive scene is still tied with Sony. So it makes no sense for Microsoft to push that. Whereas Cyberpunk's marketing's all been Microsoft. They've been on Microsoft stages at E3. They had Keanu Reeves on the stage at E3.
You're breathtaking. Yeah,
to me,
they've got a good relationship there.
To me, if that is announced, it would be big, and it would not surprise me at all. And that, to me, that is a big thing. Like, get your new console with Games Pass, and you get, because it comes with like 6 months of Game Pass, you get Cyberpunk for free. Like, huge. Yeah. Huge.
Goddamn.
Cool.
I could see that. That happening.
Let's get to questions. Yeah. If you want to send us questions, you can email us, checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. Otherwise, Checkpoint on all the social platforms. You're giving me anxiety. I keep seeing your mic muted. And it's like, it scares me because I don't know if you're doing it intentionally or not.
I'm on it. No, it's every time I push control, but I'm aware of it, so don't worry.
It's your cough button.
Look, I could mute on Discord, but it doesn't mute on Audacity, so don't worry.
Okay.
Don't you worry. Okay, we have a lot of questions, so we're on an hour and a half here. We're gonna have to fly very quickly. Let us start with Instagram. Oh my god, I'm in the wrong account. Please hold. First question on Instagram comes from Bester Bash. Says, is there any intel on the AMD releases?
That's funny. I like that. They actually announced an event, or two events this week. They are hosting an event at the beginning of October for their new CPUs. So the Zen 3 or Ryzen 4000 CPUs. And then on the 28th of October, they are showing off their consumer RDNA 2 GPUs, which to me, I cannot believe they've kept it for that long. Like, by then, the RTX 3070 and 3080 will be out before they even announce competitors to it, which seems really weird to me. I would expect AMD to at least announce their stuff so that, when these new NVIDIA cards hit shelves, you go, okay, well, I might wait for the AMD ones. But yeah, I don't know. That's like a PlayStation launching before Xbox has even revealed their next gen console. It's like makes no sense to me.
Well, why not? Yellow.
Yeah.
The words of the millennials, cop a dime.
Cop a dime. Get out of here.
Okay, we have some quick fire questions from Cello ZA. It says, good guess on the F1 last week. Will Ferrari qualify top 10? Results on Sunday.
Listen, no one would have guessed that one last. Someone in Finland did and won a lot of money.
I saw you. Did you say that to me, or did you say it in the last? No, you tweeted it out.
Yeah, he bet 20 cents euros, obviously 20 cents on the result, and won 33,000 euros back.
Now imagine he went ahead and put like €1 instead of half arsing with his 20 cents.
Listen, no one would have predicted. I'm sure he laughed himself out of the door when he placed that bet.
Well, I mean, who's laughing now?
Probably the bookie was like, listen, you got 20 cents change. Do you want to just put it on a ridiculous bet? And the guy's like, yeah, whatever. Oh.
Goddamn. When will Sandy come join us for Among Us so we can hear him lie about his location?
I always lie about my location.
If you're doing nothing on Tuesday and Thursday, I would highly recommend.
I'm actually recording on the moon right now.
Oh, shit. Who knew?
Yeah, but I'm keen to give it a go. It looks like a lot of fun.
It's It's a lot of fun. Let me tell you, I'm the worst imposter.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Shocked.
I'm just so bad at lying that my friends just see right through me. Like, let's play. You'll see.
I still
You
laugh
own
at
2
that
hours.
clip from what, Unfortunate Spacemen, where you just gave yourself away and your eyes.
No, that is another game called. Oh, you're right. There's another game I was playing called I'm Not a Monster.
Oh my
which is
god!
also
Okay, it's another one. Okay.
Similar premise, yeah. Where it was like the round starts. I'm busy reading. It's like you are the monster,
And your eyes just dilate. You're like, did I just say that out loud?
And then my friend just laughed. It's like, well, shit. Best cartoon from your childhood? So many.
Yeah.
I think I grew up with the Cartoon Network heyday. So I have a very fond love for the likes of Dexter's Laboratory.
Yes, I also love that.
Ed and Eddie.
Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack. Courage the Cowardly Dog was weird, but I still loved watching.
I dug it a lot. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Johnny Bravo. Shit, there's so many good ones.
Man, Johnny Bravo does not hold up in a modern context, eh? Wow. Real bad.
It really does not.
Real bad.
But if you had to choose one, what is your favorite?
I liked a lot of those Cartoon Network cartoons like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends and Kids Next Door. That was really good. Dexter at a young age, I loved Dexter. Like, absolutely adored really Dexter. So yeah, that would probably be up there. That between that and Courage the Cowardly Dog, also Dragon Ball Z. Hey, I still watch that now. Yeah.
On the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Previously on Dragon Ball Z. I'm going to come out and say that besides all those ones I just named, Tom and Jerry.
Ooh.
I love Tom and Jerry. And I'll never forget, on Cartoon Network, every New Year's Day, they had a 24-hour Tom and Jerry marathon.
Yes, you're right.
And I loved the hell out of Tom and Jerry.
You're right.
That's it.
Tom
That's
and Jerry. I never, because Cartoon Network at the time always used to be like a split of like the like old cartoons and the new ones, and like
the new ones, yeah.
Tom and Jerry was one of the old ones that I liked, but some old ones I hated, like what was it, Top Cat? I didn't like at all.
I didn't mind Top Cat too much.
Looney Tunes was not my thing either. Tom and Jerry, Scooby Doo was good. I enjoyed Scooby Doo.
You take that back. Looney Tunes was not your thing.
Yeah.
You have just died in my heart. Okay, I can't even look you in the eye now.
I'll turn off my camera.
Best fighting game in your opinion?
Ooh. My favorite fighting game is not a fighting game, according to Jeff. Super Smash Bros.
It is a fighting game. There's a pro scene, okay?
Yes, there's a pro scene. It's a fighting game. I love Smash Bros. Yeah.
No, I was going to say I like Smash Bros. As well. But if I had to not choose Smash Bros., I think I have such a soft spot for Tekken because I grew up with that on the PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
Tekken 2 and Tekken 3 were...
See, I grew up with that, but I was never good at them. So they're always associated with me hating playing that against my friends because I was so crap at Tekken.
How can you not be good at Tekken? You just pick Eddie, you push X,
just
to
mash
infinity,
buttons.
you win. Even veteran players are like, I can't counter this. I can't do anything.
There used to be a fighting game. I remember playing it just because it felt like so forbidden to play it because it was so violent, called Bloody Raw, which was pretty cool. It's like every character was a human, but they turned into some like animal thing. And it was just like super violent. And I remember being like, this is fucking cool. Yeah.
Shit. Do you think Link can go to jail for all the pots he destroys?
Well, yeah. He runs into people's houses. He destroys the pots and steals their rupees. Definitely. Is it rupees?
It's rupees. My only concern with, in Link's defense, why do these houses have so many clay pots in them to begin with? What are they hiding?
Also, in Link's defense, where does he put all the rupees? Those things are big.
In his hat, dude.
It's got that infinite pocket.
The infinite pocket. I mean, he carries bombs, he carries boomerangs,
like that briefcase from that Harry Potter film, where it's just like he can walk into
that bag
it.
What is it? Yeah, it's just that bag, bottomless bag.
But yes, he should go to jail. I think there are some, if I'm not mistaken, in Wind Waker, there's a museum where it's like you are not allowed to destroy these pots, and if you break a pot and get something out, you get like fined and kicked out, which is quite funny.
That's so good. They knew players were doing this. Like,
I wish
no,
Wind
not
Waker
this
would
time.
come to Switch, because you've never played Wind Waker, hey?
Nope.
It's good.
No.
It's good.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of stuff coming to Switch, so we'll see. Okay, this isn't really a question from Cello. He just says, can Harry please share his Porto story that he told on Thursday's stream?
Tell me.
Okay.
Tell me.
So Cello told me one of his wild stories. He was abroad. He went east to teach for a couple of years, and he's got some wild stories. So I was like, okay, I don't have any stories like that, but I have a story from the first time I went away at Lenska, that trip I proposed in Madeira. On the way there, we had a little stopover in Porto. Okay. So we've just got off our plane. We caught a train, whatever. We're in Porto, walking towards our, I don't know if it was an Airbnb or hotel, whatever. But we're busy wheeling our bags, and this really old Portuguese guy stops us and starts having like a fat conversation with us, like just talking away, yammering. I'm
just
like,
a random dude.
Just a random dude. I'm like,
Okay.
in the back of my mind, I'm like, is he trying to sell us something? Is he trying to help us?
Was he
Is
speaking
asking for
in English or
directions?
Portuguese?
Hey?
Was he speaking in English or Portuguese?
It's Portuguese.
Oh,
just
God.
straight up Portuguese.
Okay.
So I turn to Lenska and I say, "Don't worry, I speak a little bit of Portuguese. I'll communicate with this guy."
Oh no.
So I say something to him, and he looks at me, and he just carries on talking in Portuguese. So I'm like, "What the hell?" So I repeat myself to him, and he looks at me, and he just carries on talking Portuguese. Like, rinse and repeat this for like at least a good 5 minutes, whatever. Eventually, like, I don't know how, we eventually just walk away. I'm like, okay, that was weird. And while we're walking, it hits me, and I tell Lenska, I'm like, I think I realized what just happened there. I was saying to that man that I don't speak English.
Oh my God.
Portuguese. So I meant to tell him, like, I don't speak Portuguese, like, não fala português, whatever.
Oh,
But I
using
kept saying,
English.
I was saying, não fala English. He's probably like, okay, you don't speak English. Let me tell you my story. He tells my story, and I'm like, listen, I don't speak English.
And he's just like, yes, this is why I'm
He's like,
speaking.
yes, let me carry on. You don't speak.
You idiot.
I know. I was like, holy shit.
That is so funny.
whatever.
Lenska must have died laughing. Look.
And she laughed at me because she tells the story. She's like, yeah, you turn to me. You're like, I'm a Portuguese expert. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. We have, I swear, I'm not even miscounting, 12 questions from Meg. So we're going to fly through them. Number 1, would you rather sleep until the pandemic is over or stay awake until the end of 2021? There is no third option.
There's a big. If I stay awake till the end of 2021, will I feel tired? Is it like a?
I mean,
like a forced insomnia thing? Because that sounds like absolute torture.
yeah, I don't know. I'm leaning towards sleep until the pandemic is over, except that could be like in 20 years.
Yeah, that could be
We don't
never.
know.
That could be. You wake up and you're like, what year is it?
Look, if you can stay awake and not suffer the health hazards of staying awake for like 2 years straight,
Yeah,
then
I'll do that. 100%.
I'm there. I'll stay
I mean, I
awake,
wish I could
play
do that right
games.
now.
Goddamn. Okay. And hang out with my wife, says Lenska. She marches out. Except Lenska loves to sleep. She'll sleep half the time.
So do I. I love sleeping as well. It's great.
Is it too soon for any retailer to do PlayStation 5 pre-orders, especially if the hard drive size is different compared to what was announced?
Well, I don't think the hard drive size is going to change. Like Mark Cerny
It's
announced that
825
thing.
gigs, right?
Yeah, it's because it's a custom one. Their size is like a bit weird and different.
It's a very weirdly specific number.
Yeah, it is quite weirdly specific. But I mean, the Xbox, the pre-orders start on September 22nd, and apparently we're getting local stock on November 10th as well, which is dope. So I suspect that as soon as Sony announces the price, the pre-order date will go up. Yeah.
I think you can pre-order from some people already, if I'm not mistaken. So like, I've got an example. There's a local PlayStation gaming group called Zappa Gaming. If I'm not mistaken, they let you put down a deposit for a PlayStation, and then you just pay the difference when it launches.
So it's almost like keeping a spot in line. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like booking your console basically.
But yeah, you don't know the price of the console, so
no. So you'll either get refund. Like I don't know what the deposit is, but you'll either get money back or pay in.
Let me tell you, if you're listening to this and you think this PS5 is coming in at anything under 10,000 Rand locally, reassess. It's not happening. It's not happening. If it comes in at the same as the Series X, you'll be lucky.
Yeah.
Straight up.
I think it's going to be so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Next question. What do you consider to be more offensive? A loud and long belch or a long smelly fart?
I
don't know.
I think, to me, the belch.
Yeah, I was going to say that seems more like intentional.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly my point. It seems very. That's something you can put your hand over your mouth and like kind of block. It also sometimes that smells really bad.
Yeah, God. Look, farts smell bad, but ain't nothing like a burp.
They can be, and like you said, it's intentional. It's like you intentionally trying to like. Yeah, although I think it's Japan, it's seen as this might be wrong.
It's like a compliment.
Yeah, a compliment to the chef.
It's like a massive compliment.
Yeah, which to me makes sense. It's like you're showing satisfaction. So
yeah. Is the checkpoint chat Fall Guys hype train still tooting? Absolutely. I don't know when you last played Fall Guys.
I haven't played in a while, but that's only because I've had review games. I do want to play. I want to play to get those Portal costumes. I really want them.
I played on Tuesday. I think it was a Tuesday or Thursday. So I tend to finish my stream with like 1 or 2 games of Fall Guys.
Oh, that's cool.
AKA like 5 games of Fall Guys because there's always just one more. And at like 2:30 in the morning, I won a game.
Oh, nice. Nice. What costume are you rocking right now?
I think the last one I had, it's so funny. There's an egg costume, so like a cracked egg top, cracked egg bottom. But I've put the cracked egg on the bottom, and then I've got like my toucan on the top. So it looks like
that is amazing. That is so good. I saw someone Photoshop the Series S as a costume for a Fall Guy. Because it's got that big round black thing, which is like they just put 2 eyes there and then gave it arms. And it's a Fall Guy, which is really funny.
Great.
If Microsoft is anywhere humorous, they will make like a Fall Guys exclusive costume that is the Series S on the Xbox.
Fall Guys to me is still like I'm still surprised by it because when it came out, I really thought it would be fun for a handful of hours and then that's that. But I've put in maybe like 15, 20 hours, if not more, into the game, which is just
it's great.
Way more than I ever thought I would.
And I'm keen for the new season.
New season's coming out soon. I think it's
it's all free. So
it's all free. So new maps, new costumes.
I mean, wasn't it? I don't know if it was this week or last week, but it was revealed that it was the most downloaded PS Plus game ever.
Yep.
In less than a month, it beat Rocket League, which is obscene.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
It's a good game. I'm very happy for them.
Yeah.
Because do you follow their accounts on Twitter?
Their Twitter account is gold.
There's social game is just that. Like I think I've said this a million times before, but if you're a company looking to try understand how to get into the zeitgeist or tweet properly, like that is the account you have to watch. They are so on the ball with everything.
Really, really good. Like really measured, not like mean or anything, just like really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Like for example, one tweet I caught, it was like a week or 2 ago. Their tweet was like, "Hey, this dude is streaming. He doesn't have a lot of viewers. Like, let's go support him."
Yeah, really.
Like
cool.
that was the tweet, and then I happened to see that tweet as it happened, and I got to witness this guy's reaction, just having thousands of people just pop up in his stream,
cool.
and it was like, that is
cool.
such premium, wholesome content, like unscripted anything. It was really good.
No, I love that sort of stuff.
This guy won a game as well.
Oh, did he?
Immediately. So it was really good, yeah.
Man, you can't write it.
You can't write that shit. What was for breakfast today? Would you have preferred to have eaten something else?
No.
I haven't eaten breakfast yet, but I have been informed by Lenska that my mom-in-law is making French toast.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna fly up out of the cottage and into the house after this.
Is it sweet or savory French toast?
I think it's sweet. Actually, I don't.
Because I've had savory French toast where it's like, it's not like it's still fried with the egg, but then it's like got like some herbs and stuff. It's not sugar.
Oh,
and
no,
syrup.
no. Okay, it'll be sweet. I think it's just fried, but then we'll add syrup or whatever to it.
I had cake.
What are you going to have for breakfast? Oh, you had cake, you son of a
Orange
bitch. You
cake.
win. You
I do like French toast though. French toast is delicious. French toast with like a boiled egg on top.
Would you rather have Cello make and serve you your favorite sandwich,
Never.
or have Phil Spencer make and serve your favorite sandwich?
Phil
Who
Spencer.
would you trust more?
I would trust Phil
Dude,
Spencer more. Have you seen how
I'd trust
trustworthy
Phil
that dude is?
Spencer.
Yeah. Cello.
Dude, Phil Spencer came in and turned Xbox around. Imagine what he can do for my sandwiches. My sandwich game would just be so much stronger.
Yeah, but like the sandwiches on my bookshelf 3 months ago, and you never saw it.
He slaps the top of the sandwiches. You won't believe how many teraflops are fit into.
What would Cello do?
Lord.
He would serve you like tax in a sandwich. He's evil.
Tax.
Yeah.
Jeez, like, there'll be 39 Rand plus tax.
Oh God.
You have the following 3 film franchises on Blu-ray to watch: The Matrix trilogy, the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy, or the Kill Bill duology. Which would you watch first, second, and last? Explain your answer in full, please. Now, let me come out the gate, and you this is where you unfriend me.
You haven't watched
don't
the
like
Batman
Looney Tunes,
movies.
So,
You haven't watched the Batman movies.
Oh no, I love the Batman movies. I haven't seen the Kill Bill movies. Or
Oh,
I have.
okay.
I think I've seen the first one. I don't think I've seen the second one.
That's fine. I actually only watched them fairly recently as well. And the second one's not good. I don't like the second one. First one's pretty good.
Gosh.
I quite like the first one. But it
So
would,
what are you watching first?
it would probably be my last because it's not like they're good movies, but they're not even close to like my favorite
I'd put it
Tarantino
last as
movies.
well.
Yeah, I think first would be Matrix. I really like the Matrix. And
The
I've
Matrix is. Such
I've come
a guilty
around on
pleasure.
that third film recently. Like I've watched it recently again. I'm like, it's actually like it goes for something different, and I appreciate it more now. Put it that way.
Look, I don't hate the third film. I just particularly like the middle film. Reloaded is just.
Reloaded is a great action film with some dumb
Reloaded
story.
has like some of the most iconic action scenes like in film.
The
period.
highway
Like,
scene is still.
the highway scene. Lots of that. I mean, look, the CGI does not hold up. Like, not at all.
It
When-
holds up better than I thought it would, to be honest.
No, look, I think for the period it came out, that was mind blowing. But if you look at that fight scene with Neo against all the agents,
Oh,
it's
okay,
like,
yeah, that looks really bad. Yeah, they
like,
look very
ow,
plasticky, and yeah, it looks. But the highway
But-
scene is like phenomenal, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
It's every time that movie goes into like super slow mo to be dramatic, it looks terrible. Like
yeah.
the first
still,
movie is still incredible, like absolutely awesome.
I'd watch those first as well. I think, and it's been a long time since I've watched them. So, and look, I love the Batman trilogy. So first movie great, second movie with the Joker, like also middle
Unbelievable,
film,
yeah.
best one hands down.
Third one
The
is
one
a bit
with
weak.
Bane,
Yeah.
I've seen once, and I've just never wanted to watch it again because
Yeah.
Bane like you have to watch with subtitles.
I feel really bad for that trilogy because I mean it's very clear that was not the plan.
No.
You know, Heath Ledger dying obviously tore
yeah.
things up in the middle of that trilogy, and I think considering everything, that movie's still good, but it's definitely not on the same level.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, but that trilogy itself is still really good. I really like it.
Yeah. So there we go. If you're reading this message, the end before 2 hours recording time has not been reached. Matthew's probably in rapid fire mode. I am. I'm looking at the, the clock going, holy shit, we've got to fly here. Would you like to have a physical keyboard for your phone? How feature rich would it be?
Hell no. I didn't even like that shit when the Blackberries were popular.
No.
Not a fan
Nah.
at all.
No thanks.
They're too small. They're always too small. No.
They are like, and my big thumbs just don't work. So
No, not a fan.
would you rather continue doing the podcast for another 40 minutes or resume playing a game for review that you are not enjoying?
Podcast for 40 minutes.
No, podcast, yeah. See, when I first read this question, it was a difficult thing of like resume playing a game for review because then like either answer, it's like, well, if I want to podcast for another 40 minutes, it means that I'm not enjoying the game. If I would rather play the game, it means I don't like talking to you. So,
Ooh.
but the fact that it says that you're not enjoying, I'm like, nah.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
It's podcast.
there's nothing. I mean, okay, there are a lot harder things, but it's very annoying and soul crushing to play a game for review that you are absolutely not enjoying,
that you hate,
and to know that there's hours left of it. It's
the thing
it's
of
not
like,
great.
well, I'm 4 hours in. I hate this game. How
not
much
great.
do I have to go? Shit, everyone seems to indicate that it's a 30-hour game.
It makes it feel so much longer, and it's really the worst part of the job.
Yeah. Has Matthew, has Alessandro couried you his Oculus Quest so you can play Half-Life Alyx? If not, why not?
You mad?
If Alessandro is being lazy again, what would your creative punishment be? I mean, he's not being lazy. I just haven't had the time to play anything.
Also, I'm not currying
Other
you
than-
my VR headset. Are you mad? No ways.
Yeah, what the hell, man? We're friends. Curry me your headset.
I'll come
Send
visit
it
you
over.
with the headset. I'm not putting it in the hands of someone who will like throw it around a truck. No ways.
Oh my god.
Thing's
Can you
delicate
imagine?
AF.
Yeah. Look,
Could you
even if
imagine your
did
cats like you playing Beat Saber in your house, like how they would react to you? Just like
I'll punch Lupin by mistake and you'll hate me.
you probably would.
No, look, I still want to play that, but there's been very little time for me to play not review games, and when I'm not playing review games, I'm still making a dent in my backlog.
And you're streaming a lot as well.
And I'm streaming. And look, I've been playing Among Us, which is a different game, but I mostly stream the same shit.
You should stream Half-Life Alyx.
Half-Life Alyx. Oh my god! Like, here's a good example. I'm dying to play Spiritfarer.
Yeah,
But
so
on,
good.
But on principle alone, I can't because I want to play it on Switch. On my Switch, I'm still playing Paper Mario. I'm 15 hours in. I am really enjoying it, but I know I've got another 15 hours to go because the game's about 30 hours long, apparently.
I mean, you don't have to finish it.
No, but I'm enjoying it, so I want to finish it. Okay, this week we've got the 3D Mario All-Stars coming out.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to just slot right in there, and that's 3 Mario games, which I probably will play.
We don't even have review code yet.
Don't even have review code.
Shake my head.
Goddamn.
Shaking my head.
I mean, but my thing with that is that's a trilogy I'd probably consider streaming because, shit, I love those Mario
And,
games. Well, I
those
love
games
Galaxy.
are pretty long. Like Mario Odyssey was pretty long. So I'm assuming Galaxy is around like the same ballpark, like 30, 40 hours.
I don't remember how long Galaxy was, but yeah, it was pretty long, if I remember. So, yeah.
You should get good at
Last question-
speedrunning Mario 64.
I can finish it in 5 minutes. Easy. It's not really a question. Mix just says, Matthew, I've been using Google Podcasts since it was released. Hopefully
Ooh.
this helps you out.
Okay, that's
Damn
cool.
it, Mix. It's good to know you listen on Google, but it doesn't really help me out because I've known we've had people on Google Podcasts, but we've had a spark recently, and I don't know why.
Maybe it's Migs and his friends.
I downloaded Google Podcasts on Apple, which I didn't know you could do that.
Oh, I did not know
And-
you could do that, yeah.
Yeah, and I've looked, and I don't know where these extra listens are coming from. Like, I don't see us promoted in any way, or
We
So I don't know.
appreciate you.
I don't know. We appreciate you, Google Podcast people. I don't know where you came from, but yeah, enjoy the show.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
You play. God damn it. And that's all the questions. We made it. It's not 2 hours yet.
If you want to send us
there.
questions like Megs and Cello and Keegan and everyone else every other week, checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. Checkpoint Chat on all the social platforms, especially TikTok. I did enjoy your TikTok,
TikTok.
yesterday.
Oh my God, the one of Lupin. It's my favorite
So
thing.
good. So
Holy
good.
shit. I just love how unimpressed he looks. And
Yeah, he's just
let
like,
me tell
what are
you,
doing?
that is like the 10th take. So I've been doing that for a while.
And I mean, your other really good TikTok from a while back was you like karate chopping him. So I feel like he's just like your
He
muse.
used to start my TikTok. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
But that's been
Goddamn.
episode 116 of Checkpoint Chat. We're definitely under 2 hours. Fantastic.
Goddamn.
Can you believe it? What an episode.
What a time to be alive.
As always, we're on social media. Thank you for listening on whatever platform. And we will see you next week with the
Have
price
a-
for the
have a
PS5.
good
Can you
week.
believe it?
Oh my, well, we hope.
God,
I
if we're not, I'll be...
Can you imagine? No, they have to release it.
I'd be mad.
And that's it. That's a podcast. Goodbye.
See you next week. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Goodbye.